What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored on Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance. I'm your host, Piers Austin. Now, I'm going to be bringing out very soon. She's the current and reigning NWA Women's World Champion. She's been a champion everywhere she goes. In my opinion, and in the opinion of many, she is not only just one of the top women's wrestlers in the world, but she's one of the top wrestlers, male, female, doesn't matter. She, in my opinion, is one of the top, and I'm going to bring her out right now. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Thunder Rosa. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm so stinky, but I wash my hands and my face, so no coronavirus here.
That's it. No coronavirus here. So you just finished training. How are you feeling after your session?
Beat up. It was a rough session. It was one of those. I mean, everybody has gone through this. Like, you don't want to go to the gym. You're like not feeling it. It's like today was just one of those days, and where like the constant reading about mass hysteria and like cancellations of like public events and stuff is just getting into everybody's feelings, because we're feeling it. It was like when first my trip to Japan got canceled, I was like, all right, well, that's in Japan. We're still having things here. And then it just started trickling down right away. Not even a week. It hasn't been 10 days since they told me that they started canceling like wrestling shows in Japan.
Yeah.
And they're coming out now in America. It's just like, man. And then I'm like, okay, let me go train and let me get all these germs that are on the mats and stuff. And then we're all talking about it, how it's like in a way affecting our mind and affecting our work and affecting our families. It's been pretty nuts.
Yeah, look, you know what? It's the same. And I've got friends from America and all over the world, and I'm actually sending them like videos. There's been people legit having fistfights in our supermarkets over toilet paper and hand sanitizer. But the funny thing about that is the toilet paper is made in Australia, so we're not going to run out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're getting worried about the wrong thing. As long as I've got food and stuff like that for my kids and my wife and my family and me, and as long as we have food, I think we're pretty much right. Toilet paper, that's food is something.
As long as we have running water, you can wash your stuff. I mean, you can wipe your ass with a towel. I'm serious. When I was living in Mexico, like there was times we didn't have no toilet paper. Like straight up, no toilet paper. Either we couldn't afford it or we didn't have toilet paper. So what do you use? Magazines, you use newspapers, you use whatever is available. Like, I feel like people here in America, like they trip about things like that are just like, some people wipe their ass with like a leaf from a tree, in like other countries. Just like, like you said, as long as like, I actually went and got water. Like that's one thing I went and got, like drinkable water, because the water here in San Antonio sucks. But and tomorrow I'm going to get food just in case, because my mother, I'm telling you, man, as soon as this coronavirus started, she called me and she said, "Rézale a Dios que no nos vayamos a morir. Just pray to God that we're not dying." Like, she's like, I'm a mom. Like, Mom, like, you need to come down. And then my dad called me today and she's like, "Your mother was right. Things are going nuts." And I'm just like, if we're gonna die, we're gonna die. You keep saying that, and my parents were like, "Melissa, go and get some food." And I was like, all right, I'll just go and get some food. But I promise, guys, I'm gonna go to the dollar store. Probably at the dollar store, I'll find some toilet paper. I just went to Target. There was like nothing, no toilet paper. It was crazy.
But you know what's funny? Like, if you remember back in like 1999 when 2000 and the Y2K thing was thing, and the whole world is gonna end. You know what I mean? Like, everything is just going to have this meltdown, and it's like it happened and nothing really came of it. You know what I mean? And I think, like, media obviously put a lot of panic into a lot of people. And look, the coronavirus is very real. It's very serious, but I think a lot of people just need to, chill the fuck out about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, and I was actually following Joe Galley this week for my YouTube video that will be coming out next week. But I actually had to go to the chamber of something here in San Antonio, and they talk about the coronavirus, because as you guys know, we brought people from some of the where was this from the cruises. that were positive for coronavirus. So there's like 11 people, and they send them to Lakeland or something like that, and they're based, and then they're in quarantine right there. But so far, those are the only people that have been infected. They're not even from San Antonio. They brought them to San Antonio because they live in Texas, so that's what they have that. And they were saying, we're like taking precautions, whatever. Like, people need to stop panicking. Like one of the doctors was saying, the one in charge, they need to stop panicking. Like, things are gonna be okay. The only thing, like, people were pissed was they were talking about the price of the testing, because if you don't have insurance, you have to pay $2,400. So I was like, I think people will probably die before they take the test. So there's a lot of uninsured people, But the reality of things is that, I'm taking precautions with my family. I personally don't go out too much. I only go out when the shows. And, if the government says that we need to shut down things, we need to shut down things. There's nothing we can do about it, Yeah. I mean,
we're guided by our government and their recommendations, and that's obviously what it comes down to. But you mentioned growing up in Mexico. What was that like? And you mentioned, obviously, there were times where you struggled, your family struggled to afford the necessities.
Yeah, Man, my dad used to give us $2. Actually, no. And money now, it will be $1. It's 20 pesos. And my mom had to buy food for 4 girls, and so she had to figure it out and how to make food for all of us. So she will get creative. I remember she will make some soup and stuff, and then sometimes we'll have meat. Sometimes I remember she was making potato soup. I was like, why the fuck is she making potato soup? And I understand why, because potato soup's cheap as hell, So I was like, man,
and it'll fill you up.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, why? And now I'm like, why do we eat? Why is Mexicans so obese now? But I understand why, because when you're poor and you can only afford beans, rice, tortillas, and potatoes, they're all carbs. Like, maybe the beans have some sort of protein, but everything else is carbs, and that fills you, So I was like, man, my mom used to do miracles, because my dad was a taxi driver, and it was 4 of us, So he was always the money was always tight. Like, it was not I'll be like, hey, Dad, can you buy me a pair of shoes? Or can I get these Nikes? Can I get none of that? Like, I grew up with whatever his sister will hand to you, that's what you got. Or whatever your rich cousins from the United States bring that they don't use, that's what you get. And I was like, and that's where I learned how to be so fruitful, because even though now I make some money, dude, I'm legitimate. I'm just trying to pay all my loans, my bills. And I don't like to spend anything extra because it's not necessary. We have everything. But at this house, one thing I will say, there was always food at my house. We never went hungry. My dad will always have food, no matter what. I do the same. There's always food in this house. Always. That's one thing is it just got in my head. It's you cannot have your son or your kids go hungry, because it's the worst feeling in the world, being hungry. And also for me now, it's just if I want something, I get it. Because there was so much, no, you can't have it. No, we can't afford it. Wait 3 months. Wait until Christmas. Wait until your birthday. There was a lot of that, and I was just like, that was always my mentality growing up. I was like, that's never gonna happen to me or my kids. If they want something, we're gonna get it. And that's why I worked so hard since I was 14 years old to be where I am right now. And it's always been independent, and I've always been I'm not materialistic. Never been, and I never will. Because that's again, right now, people are losing millions of dollars. I could have gotten a little hey, I'm gonna start investing, but I would have been so pissed if I would have lost all my investments, which I still want to do though, but this is not the time. But yeah, man, it was rough, but that taught me how to be, just be smart about my moves and be smart about, what I buy, and how, just how I'll be in the future, because like I said, I just need the basics. I'm a pretty basic person, and I can make a $5 shirt look like a $500 shirt. That's what I always say. You just wear it with style.
Exactly, and I think that's the main thing. I think when you grow up with the understanding of material objects, and I think that as you get older, you appreciate what you have so much more. And obviously, you talk about now where you are in your career as a professional wrestler and as obviously one of the top performers in the business today, you know, to be so humble and to be able to appreciate, you know, the small things. And, you know, you, as you said, you don't need to sort of go and have like all these objects and stuff like that. But if you want something, you're going to get it, because that's what you obviously, you know, you work so hard for, is to be able to get, and I call them luxury items, because they're things that you don't necessarily need, but you really want. You know, and that's where I'm actually trying to teach my son that now, because we just had his birthday. I said, listen, let's get rid of some of your older toys and let's give them to people, to families, to little boys and girls that aren't as fortunate as you, that have mummy and daddy in a position to buy you what you want, whatever, you know what I mean? And he's like, he doesn't get it, but as like, obviously he's 4, so it's trying to teach him that sort of sense of, you know, giving and understanding of other people. So
I mean, it is hard to like with your kids. Like my son, he's very aware, because he grew up kind of like the same way that I did before I adopted him. He grew up pretty rough, but he understands, and he's like very willing. He'll take his sweater off and give it to somebody else, you know. And he like is very minimalistic. He doesn't like to ask me for stuff. I mean, there's certain things he likes, you know. He wants to have certain stuff, and that's fine, you know. It's, and we're both kind of like getting into like, okay, this is where we can do for you, because, you know, if you want something, you're gonna have to start working for it. And that's what I'm trying to teach him. Like, yes, I can fly you to Mexico, but not all the time, because I gotta fly you and I gotta fly myself. You know, it's a lot of money, you know. So it's like stuff like that. But yeah, hey, man, I never went out from Tijuana. Like, I stayed in Tijuana all my whole entire life until I was like 19. I got financial aid, man. The first check of financial aid. Instead of spending it on school, I told my parents, yo, we're going on a vacation. I'm paying for it.
So you mentioned your son that you adopted. How old is your little boy?
He's not little. He's taller than me. He is 14. He's about to be 15 in August.
Wow. And how old was he when you adopted him, if you don't mind talking about?
12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's from Mexico. Obviously, you're saying he wants to go.
Yeah. Yes, he's from Mexico. He's from Tijuana too. So he's my husband's blood son. So
right.
Yeah, but we like have him full time now. So it's, I mean, being a mother of a teenager is very challenging. Like, my props to all parents that, you know, they have their kids since they're little, and I don't know, man. It's intense. It's a lot of like, you know, because you're not ready to be a parent. Yeah, because you're never like, there's not a like, I mean, there's a lot of books, and like, you know, I have a lot of experience working with parents that have kids with a lot of problems. But when you have your kids that have their own problems, you're kind of like, want to implement all the stuff that you think you know, but you don't really know. So it's just like, oh my God. But hey, it's a learning experience.
I think every parent can relate to what you just said there. You know, it truly is. It's exactly the same way. Now, going into your professional wrestling career, so you made your debut in 2014. Where were you wrestling? Who got you into wrestling? Who trained you? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, as I was telling you, I'm like just pulling this thing that really hurt. I need a manicure, man. I need a manicure. Sorry. So I was brought up in wrestling in the Bay Area in Oakland, California. That's where I used to go to a lot of the shows, like indie shows. I never went to like big shows. I went to WrestleMania 25 and some WWE stuff because my husband was super into it. But back then he was my fiance. I trained at this place called APW Goldmine Gold Rush Boot Camp. That's what it was called. I don't know if you've seen Beyond the Mat is now on Netflix.
Yep.
Roland Alexander was the owner of APW, and I was gonna go to APW because from all the schools that I were in the area, that was one of the most legitimate schools, and they pump really good wrestlers from there. So for me, it's always been like I have to go to the best schools in order for me to learn from the best, or at least that I know that they have the basic that are the best. So they had that, and I used to do a lot of volunteer work with them. I paid my whole entire tuition for the 2 years that I was going to be there. Roland Alexander dies. The school closes. we like whoever paid for the school in advance, we all lost our money. So I went to the other school, and the teachers that we had there were the students that graduated from APW. It's Dylan Drake and Matt Carlos. They were my original trainers.
Yeah, right. And making it into we're just going to go to our comments in Facebook. So we've got Facebook user. If you want to see your name, you just need to click the link above so StreamYard can grant access. She's so neat, great wrestler and neat person. Her Instagram is just great.
Thank you. Tell your friends to like follow me, and we're trying to get into 100,000 followers by the end of July. So
well, we will do everything we can to help that. And definitely we will make sure of that. So one comment from Andy Bolger, who's a good friend of mine. Thank you for all you do in the ring. What wrestler is your biggest influence? I think you wanted to ask.
Somebody just asked me this when we were rolling right now, like an hour ago. It will be Sarah Stock, definitely.
Yeah, right. And so Sarah Stock, obviously being one of your bigger influences, how have you felt like once, to sort of get so you did your wrestling training with the APW guys. When you said APW, I'm like sitting there going, fuck, I know that. How do I know that name? You know what I mean? And then when you said Roland Alexander and Beyond the Mat, that's when it sort of come flashing back to me. So how did you find it, like breaking onto the indies? And obviously developing the Thunder Rosa character and obviously trying to get bookings and make a career out of this. What was your approach to that?
We were like just as aggressive as we are right now. We haven't stopped. Well, maybe now a little bit more because I'm with NWA. Thank God. Thank you all the lords of wrestling. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Lagana. Man, we were aggressive. My husband was acting like it was me. He was using Facebook at first, a lot of Facebook, and he was like talking to promoters, like forcing me to go to places that I honestly didn't want to go, and just volunteering. Again, people see your face, people get to know you, and then I'm a very hardworking person. He's a very hardworking person, so we will show up and do ring crew and like help them out with stuff, like always helping out people without asking for anything back. And in many instances, I never got booked in some of these places, not even now that I have a name. We were like very aggressive, and when an opportunity will arise, we will never say no. We'll take it, even if it was not the best. We will just see what we can get out of it. Networking. I mean, I'm really big into networking. I work in when I was in college, that's one of the things that really influenced me and my husband. We were very involved in student government. So that meant we have to talk to people in order to network, to get opportunities for us, to get opportunities for the student government, for the students that we had in general, and, to make a difference in our life and to make a difference in others. So therefore, we utilize those skills that we learn, organization skills, creating events, talking to people, all of that, we use it in wrestling. And I feel like many people hate doing that, but at this day and age, if you don't know how to do this one-on-one, you're not going to be able to do it on social media. And one of the things that it separates me from a lot of the female wrestlers or from other wrestlers is the interaction that we have with our fans. And that's been number one on our list always. Is our fans are number one, our customers are number one, because they are the ones who are allowing me to be where I am right now. So that was always our focus, and it's been noticeable. Like, I have fans that way before I even started wrestling, that they were following me when I was a manager. They send me like Christmas letters, they send me Christmas gifts to meet my husband, to my kids, and I'm very close to them. So that's another thing. I mean, I'm a pretty open book, so that helps a lot. I'm very transparent. We're very transparent in many things. But yeah, man, that's what we did, and we continue doing it. I mean, when I want to do something, I ask 1 or 2 times. When they say no 3 times, I'll be like, all right, man, I'm just gonna leave it, let it go. I'm just gonna see when they're ready, they're gonna contact me. And big opportunities have come to me that way. When they're ready to contact me, they come and contact me. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm ready to take the opportunity. I'll be like, you know what? Thank you very much. This is not what I'm looking for. And that's how it has been for me. I mean, it's been a lot of work, and we're still working on it. And, it's like now, like everybody's like, man, you're on top, this and this and that and that. But you know what? I feel like I need to work 10 times harder, because there's another girl that is brand new, that is probably better than I am, that is younger than I am, and that wants the same spot that I have right now. But guess what? I'm gonna outwork you, girl, because that's what I do.
But that's exactly it. You have to stay hungry and focused. And, I have people messaging me saying, oh, it's great. You have a show that you get to talk to professional wrestlers. Do they just contact you? I'm like, no, dude. Like and that's the thing. I send out, I contact people, and I'm fortunate enough to have, that same interaction with people like yourself and others that are willing to come on and give me an opportunity. And I'm very thankful for people like yourself that give up your time. So, I can obviously.
I could be showering right now, smelling like roses, but I smell like half a rotten rose right now.
And that's why, I appreciate the fact that you're able to come and give me your time for my audience to learn more about you. And that's something that obviously, as you said, it's part of the game, and it's a part of obviously building your brand. And, we definitely appreciate that. And I meant what I said when I introduced you. In my opinion, you're not just one of the best women's wrestlers on the world. I consider you one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like male, female, it doesn't. There's no, gender needed.
It's like every time I hear that, I'm just like, man, I still have so much. I have so much work to do, man. Every time I'm in the mats, I get humbled. Like every time I'm in the mats, I'm like, I can get better than this. I can be better than this. I can, But thank you very much.
But you know what? And that's the thing. And as an athlete that you are, wanting to drive and get better, that's the major importance of it. You know what I mean? You're not satisfied with, being complacent where you're at. You are the current world women's champion of the NWA, a belt that has been around since the 1930s. That is something, and the matches that you have had, you were getting better and better. When you're on the mic, you were seeing those improvements week to week. And for me, that's something, because you can see that you were committed to being the best wrestler in the planet. And, and as Stone Cold Steve Austin said, if you're not in the business to be the top person, then why are you in the business? That should be your strive. And I love watching NWA because it is something different. But every athlete that is in the NWA, you see that same sort of drive and passion that they want to make the brand better, but also make themselves better and improve. And that's the thing. Like, I've watched every episode of NWA Power, and
I think I think it comes from the top, because when you have certain, like, I work in like 4 different TV shows now.
Yep.
Something like that, But when you have bosses that are like there for themselves, it's really hard for the talent to kind of like, flourish. But when you have bosses or people that are on top that are willing to work with you, to like develop you, to help you get to the next level, that makes a huge difference. And I feel like Billy and Lagana, together as a team, and like the whole entire team, we're all trying to get better as a team, like, and I feel with the women's division, that's what we're trying to do. Like, we are all leaving our egos aside, and we're trying to be the best that we can be in the ring, and try to put some of the best matches that we can, so people can see, it's like NWA women's division is a place to be. Because we all have different talents. We all bring a different flavor to the ring than other companies. Yeah, our talent pool is very small, but we all have different strengths, and we all play these strengths in a different way, and I think that's what I personally like about it. When we have issues, or when mistakes arise in the ring, we don't take it personally. Be like, hey, what we can do better for next time. We don't do that, because we want to get this thing to the next level. Yeah. And I personally don't do that. When somebody else comes in the ring, somebody else comes into the locker room, is the first time there, I want them to feel welcome, because that makes such a huge difference in the morale. Because I can tell you, man, I've been in so many so many locker rooms, and people have been fucking petty, and they're like giving you the looks, or like, who is this bitch, or like, you already feel that they feel like you're there to take their spot, and that's not what it's about.
And that's what wrestling was like years ago. You know what I mean? It was, from what all the stories that we hear as fans. I wasn't around back then, so I'm going off what the stories that have been sort of told. Certain eras of professional wrestling backstage, it was cutthroat. People were going to out for each other. They were paranoid about taking each other's spot. And then, obviously discussing with current talent from around the world, how much that's changed and how everyone's wanting to build each other up, you know what I mean? And to be able to improve everyone's game, to make it better. The professionalism in professional wrestling from the talent has obviously been something that you can see has been increasing over the years.
I mean, you have to, man. It's like, I think the game has changed. And I mean, for me, because I personally went through it myself when I started with some people, I'm not gonna mention names, and you feel like shit. I mean, you go back to your room and you're just going cry because you don't know what to do, because you don't feel welcome. You don't feel part of the team. And I don't want anybody that come in there to feel that feeling. It's like, because it just breaks you. It breaks your morale. It breaks your ego. It just like, you're like, what am I doing wrong?
Soul crushing.
You need to stop, Drago. You always do this in all my interviews. All of them.
Are you talking to your stepson or your puppy?
Oh my God. No, look, he's like, he has eyebrows. Oh. My son gave him eyebrows. He was so bored. He's like, I'm bored. I'm going to give him some eyebrows. I'm looking for his bone because I give him bone and peanut butter and then he's Gucci. But I can't find it. Sorry, so, this is the real life of a wrestler.
No, this is why our show is called Shooting the Shit Uncensored. So, we're just two people sitting back shooting the shit. So one question I really wanted to ask, and obviously the locker room for the women's NWA, or the NWA women's locker room, you have Melina there now. And Melina is someone that you've worked very closely with. For a short while now.
Yes.
And in my opinion, I think, and this is just my opinion, so people don't get angry at me for saying this. I think Melina's best work is being done now in the NWA.
You think so?
I legitimately think so. I think she's getting a lot. What she's doing, working with you guys. I think I'm seeing a lot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it's a different style of her. But how have you found working with her?
Well, I worked with her before, and she was always very easy to work with. But I mean, she has so much experience in big crowds and working storylines and stuff. And I think I mean, it's fun to see her, and it's just like. And it's fine to watch. It's fun to watch her, and as our stories are developing, I'm like, man, I really hate her for real. Like, she's so like condescending, and she thinks like she's like all that, And then I don't know. It's just like, it's so cool. Because like this is people that you saw on TV like 10, 15 years ago, and now you're like, oh, I'm working with her, and like we're pushing her to the next level, to somewhere where she's not used to working like that, because that's not how women used to work 10, 15 years ago, man. So it's like, I mean, come on, man. Like, you have Allison Kay. She has a background of like amateur fighting, and she's like a jids crazy. I am a pro fighter. Like, I'm not there to just like, drag you by the hair and like,
rip your clothes off and
no, man. I'm there to like lay it in. Like, I'm a hammer. Like, I'm not there to just like look pretty and dance like I used to do before. I mean, I still look pretty and I still dance, but not in the ring.
Absolutely, and that's correct. And where women's wrestling is at now, to me, and I don't mean any offense by this, women's wrestling when I was younger, like 10, 15 years ago, as you mentioned, that was the time I would be like, all right, checking my messages, going for a smoke.
Yeah, but it was because they didn't grabbing a beer. They didn't allow them. They didn't allow them to do what they can do. I mean, Jazz wasn't allowed to do this. Who else? Molly Holly. I mean, Victoria. Some of those ladies were like great athletes, and then they're like, okay, you're jobbing to this girl that can't wrestle, but she's our star. What do they have to do? They got to do the work, you know. And it was just very frustrating because they couldn't. There was a story. I think it was Jazz or Victoria told me this. They had a fight. They had a match, and the match was so good. When they went to the back, they gave them shit about it. They were like, "Guys, that looked too good. You guys can do that next time." In a house show like that, or like they had 7 minutes. Yeah, they will have 7 minutes, and they will get in gorilla, and they'll be like, "Guys, you have 3 minutes."
What can you do in 3 minutes? What can you do in 3 minutes? Like 3 minutes is a squash, essentially.
Pretty much, and that's what they had to work on. So, like when I talk to Jazz, and she tells me, "I wish I was brought up in this time because you guys are allowed, and you guys are like now that people are demanding for you guys to be athletes, not just to be girls that look good and shake their asses, which is no respect, but that's what they wanted us to do for a long time. And you know what, man? It's like, man, that was rough. I would have been pissed.
Look, I'm a straight male, and like beautiful women, I have no problem with. But when I watch professional wrestling, bra and panties matches were not something that I wanted to. You know what I mean? When I'm watching professional wrestling, when the matches are on, I want to see ass kicking, in your face, aggressive. Like, you know, I want to be able to look at it and be able to escape from reality and being, this is, you know, professional wrestling at its best. But for me, I don't know. Like, as I said, I'm a straight guy. But when it came to that sort of bra and panty stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go grab a drink.
Don't get me wrong, man. I don't mind wrestling in bikini. I've wrestled in bikini before. I mean,
yeah. I'm saying,
you know, close to matches, like, I have no problem with that. It's like they have to do what they have to do, man, to survive. And that's this is part of the evolution of women's wrestling. You know, it's just part of it. And I mean, they can't be ashamed of it. But some women had to do what they had to do. You know.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not putting that on the workers. I'm putting that more on the management for not giving them that opportunity to do more. And that was not an insult to any of the talent. But like I said, at that time for me, it wasn't something that I was that interested into sitting down and watching. You know, I mean, if it was women wrestling in bikinis having a solid match, hell yeah. Like, I'll sit and it doesn't matter what they're wearing as long as they're putting the work in the ring.
Totally. But man, I'm blessed. I will have to say I'm blessed. But like when I first started, like there were very few spots. The matches were terrible. Like I was like, man, like that's what I need to. That's what. Yeah. It was rough, you know. So like if I was to like train women now, I'll be very demanding because my coaches, all of them were males. First of all, they never took it easy on me. Never. No. Can you be patient, please? Like I'm almost done. So, and I will have, you know, I will have the same expectations that my trainers had for me for the girls too. When I did a lot of like, before I used to do a lot of seminars when I was traveling a lot more than now, I will get on the girls' butts and I'll be like, no, bitch, you gotta jump from the bottom and do your up and over. Now, don't use the like a bottom rope. No, we don't do that here. You're an athlete. You gotta jump. Exactly, right, Bravo? He totally agrees with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, obviously, you obviously you were saying working with Melina has been a great help and obviously to where you were at now. Being the NWA Women's Champion, when did they come to you and say, hey, this is going to be your time, we're going to be putting the belt on you? You know, and what was said to you? Have they said how long they plan to have you as the champion? Obviously, I don't want you to tell us future storylines.
Listen, man, if I knew, I wouldn't tell you anyways. Okay?
No. I'm not trying to tell us to give us anything that. You know,
I honestly, if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you straight up the truth. I have no clue.
But I have no clue. When did they come to you and say we're going to be making you the champion? You're going to be the face of this division?
I'm going to tell you right now. When I stepped on that ring that first time and you guys heard those drums, everybody should have known that was my time.
Yeah.
Straight up. Well, you know why? Because nobody else believed in Thunder Rosa but the NWA. Everybody else will give me a mask. They have me be doing my lucha stuff, which I have no problem with because I love lucha. Lucha is part of my culture. And you know what? I'm an athlete. So you tell me what to do. I learn it because I'm an athlete and because I love wrestling and I speak wrestling. So I don't give a crap if I go to Japan. I learn the Japanese style. You know why? Because I love wrestling and because I respect their culture. They send me to Mexico. I will learn lucha. You know why? Because I want to work that style. Because I love wrestling. Now in MMA, guess what? I gotta learn jiu-jitsu and striking and everything else. You know why? Because I love it now. I love fighting, and it's pretty dope. You know.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Going back to your question, Lagana had a vision for me, but I didn't know what it was gonna be. But when they saw me, how much passion, how much effort, how much everything I put in the ring that first time, just coming out of the ring, like coming out into the studio, no music, nothing. It was just me and the people in the ring. It was magic. It was instantaneous. Like many people were waiting for that moment to happen. I was waiting for that moment to happen. My husband was waiting for that moment to happen. When my face came out on the NWA on the entrance, like when they're like presenting the show into the fire, I started crying because that was the first time that something that we created, that we believe in, that many people believe in, and something that that is very ingrained in me as a person, as Melissa Cervantes, was presented to the world with no with no limitations.
Yeah.
And you show who Thunder Rosa really was, and that's what made Thunder Rosa get over. Because that's who I really am, I'm a fucking fighter. I'm a warrior. I don't give up. Even when I have the fucking worst days in the world and I feel like crap. That's one thing I learned in life is never giving up, no matter how difficult things are. When I got my fight, I got my ass handed, I got my fucking face cut. Guess what? I could have blown into a ball and let the girl fucking beat me up and TKO me. But you know what I did? I got up, they cleaned my face, and I told my coach, am I doing well? Okay, cool. I have one more round. Okay, I'm going to keep going and have fun because I'm not giving up. That's what I did because all the odds were against me, and all the odds have always been against me. And I have this peanut butter thing in my hand right now because I'm like on it. But you know what? I never given up. In that time, that first time I got in the ring in NWA, I said, I'm here because everybody said no to me. And guess what? I'm here to be undeniably one of the best wrestlers in the world. And everybody's going to see it because it's on YouTube and it's for free. And if you haven't seen it, go and see it.
I completely agree. And to me, as I said, I'm really enjoying the NWA. I really enjoy Power, the throwback feel. I like it's interesting that the intros don't have music. It's coming out to the ring. How did you find like going from obviously coming out and having a ring entrance with music and stuff prior to going on to the NWA and doing Power, where it's a little bit different? There's no ring like music entrance. You're coming out to the ring. It's a different setup with the crowd, with the live sort of like a studio audience. How did you find adapting?
I was blessed that when I started wrestling that first year, I was signed by Lucha Underground. And they made me do this Cobra Moon character that nobody knew who she was. And they told me, okay, you need to put this character over. So what do? You make the character over. I came out with no music. Nobody knew who the hell I was. So I made sure, they knew she was a snake. She was conniving. And everybody's going to hate her. And it happened because nobody was like, who's this bitch? Like, what is she doing? She's so weird, So that helped me so much. By the time I came into NWA with no music, and it was just like you open the curtains and you come out, to get that time to connect with the people. Because if you don't have that emotional connection with your people, you lost them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do 50,000 flips and I can do some cool ass stuff, but then they're not going to give a shit about what I do. They're not going to give a shit about the character. And I want them to remember the character. I want them to talk about the character. I want them for the next show that they want to see me. That's the reason why they're tuning into the show. Otherwise, I'm doing a disservice to the NWA because I want the NWA to be back to where it was many, many years ago. And I'm talking about with the women's division, me being the face of the women's division, which I feel like so egocentric as saying this, like I am the face of the women's division, but yes, I am. I'm the champion, you know. So I want little girls to tune in and watch the show, you know, and see, okay, there's a spot for you guys. You want to do it, you can be here too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that, and obviously you were talking about, you wanted to inspire little girls and stuff like that. And I think obviously being, in the spotlight like professional wrestlers are, especially at the level that you're at, it must be, quite humbling and, heartwarming when you have, younger fans, obviously like children coming up to you, they have the same, maybe have the Thunder Rosa face paint and stuff like that. How was that for you the first time you had like a young fan come up to you and say, Thunder Rosa, I love you, you inspire me, and how was that for you and as a feeling of an athlete?
It's always kind of like weird, but at the same time, it's like, oh, this is pretty dope. Like there is one, she saw me winning the championship in Pacifica. Her name is Chloe. We're really good friends. Like we became really good friends. Like her mom comes, like the whole family comes to Texas, and then we hang out. My son hangs out with the kids and stuff like that. And I remember when she was like 4 or 5 years ago, one time her mom asked me, I was like, hey, can you go out with my daughter? Oh, can you come to her birthday party? And I'm like, well, it's kind of weird, but I'll show up. We'll see what happens. I showed up and like legit, like she had a cake with my face in the cake. It was super dope. It was super dope. I was like, oh my God, let me take a picture. She was not expecting me there. I went and played games with her. I played games with her friends and stuff. And then from there on, we just like, she's like, hey, you want to hang out? And then she'll come and we'll go like ice skating, and then we'll talk about like, female problems and like, things that she want to do when she get old. And I've seen her grow, from like a little child to like a teenager now. And I'm just like, man, this is super weird. But it's like being part of somebody's life like that and being a positive influence on them. It's incredible. Like every time I go to the Bay Area, like the mom's like, hey, you want to come and see her, like hang out, and we cook together. We make cookies and we talk about, their boyfriends now and, their girl problems that are not, related to like Hannah Montana anymore. So it's just like, it's really cool. And like last week, actually, this other girl, she's from Brownsville. She goes to every single show when I'm in the Valley in Brownsville. And she loves me. She's very, very reserved. She's very quiet. But they did this like cosplay. Was it a cosplay? I don't know. What do you call it? I don't know.
Cosplay. I don't know.
Yeah. Like she's participating in this. She's participating in this event. And she was cosplaying me. She's very quiet. Like you painted her face. Beautiful work that they did, by the way. Whoever did it, you guys did a better job than I did. Then she walks in, the stage, super, like walking with so much confidence. And then they introduce her as Thunder Rosa. She comes in the middle of the stage, and then she flexes. And I was just like, look at her. I became a icon for her to feel comfortable with herself and confident about herself. She takes a face paint and she's like the total opposite person, but she puts a face paint on and she's somebody totally different. Like stuff like that is just like, wow, man. Like the fact that you are able to give somebody confidence that way at a young age is super dope. And even like little boys too, like do the same thing. They really like me. They paint their face and they're like, could you just inspire me to do things that I never thought I would? And it's like, if this is where I am, or this is where I was put in the world, this is what I was put in the world for. You need to shut up. I'm allowed to put you in the room. Outside. You are going outside. Let me put him up.
So we're just going to throw to a couple of questions from the audience. Kevin Rodriguez, who is a good friend of mine. He's a great supporter of this show and also does his own show, The War Room, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. He has a question for you. Who is the first person you called after winning the NWA title?
My husband. And I called him, and I was crying. I was crying so hard, and he's like, oh my god, he's like, what are you crying for? You like wipe your tears and stop crying. And I was just like, can't talk. And it was him. Like, just yeah, he was him, definitely.
Yeah. And obviously, like winning that title, a title that's been around from the 30s, had some very, very, established women hold that title over the years. How does it feel to obviously, wrestling has a predetermined outcome. However, to be a champion in wrestling, to me, is such a major importance as well. And to get to that accomplishment and to hold a championship like the NWA Women's Championship, which has such a long lineage of great champions, how does that feel to hold that title and to be the essential face of that championship at the moment and obviously leading into the future?
Well, it's a great responsibility, like Spider-Man will say. It just, for me, it's like graduating from a really expensive Ivy League college kind of thing. I see it that way. It's like all your hard work, it's finally paid off. Like all your attributes as an athlete, as a person, and as a wrestler are, rewarded by that. And just having my name, which finally is trademarked, by the way, it's mine. Thunder Rosa. It belongs to Melissa Cervantes now. It's pretty awesome. Like it's in Wikipedia, and when I went and told my parents the whole like backstory of the title and how important it is for somebody like me to hold it right now, it's pretty cool. Again, I am very proud of my heritage, and I'm the first Mexican-born wrestler to hold a title like this. For me, it's a big deal. Somebody made that comment that, well, why did they make such a big deal if fucking wrestling is predetermined? Because it is a big deal, homeboy. It took 80 years for a person like me to win this title.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's, yes, wrestling is predetermined, but to be a champion in a major promotion is a big, big deal. And, it's something that needs to be respected, because people don't just wake up one morning and go, hey, I'm going to be a pro wrestler and I'm going to go be an NWA champion. Yeah, I'm gonna start wrestling tomorrow and I'll win the title probably sometime next week. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that. And I remember, like, I was so nervous, like the first season in September last year, when I went to Georgia, and I was getting ready for my first fight too. So it was like everything was happening at the same time. And I was talking to one of my best friends, who's a big, big wrestling fan, and he was helping me so much on my mental training and my training. And I'm like, man, I'm about to go to the NWA where like legends were made. And he looked at me and he was like, well, get this straight, Melissa. You are the next one in line. You will become a legend because you're going to be a champion one day. And I was just like, my friend, what? And then I was like, oh my God, I never saw that before. And then when I won the championship, he sent me a text message and he's like, I'm beyond proud of you. I told you that you were going to become a legend. And now your name is on the wrestling history books, man. I was like,
look, I popped really big when you won the title, and like I said, for me to be sitting here having a conversation with you is a surreal moment, and it's I'm so grateful for you to give us your time, and you know what, in my opinion as well, the NWA Women's Championship is is the best women's championship belt. Looks like style-wise, looks-wise, the best in any promotion. Obviously, the photo in the middle, it's a throwback, like a lot of the NWA titles are. As far as obviously, you've won many titles in professional wrestling. To be a champion, how do you, obviously to be a champion means a lot, but the actual championship belt, do you find that as more of a prop, or is that something that you love and desire? Or
it's not a prop for me. It's like legit, like carrying my UC Berkeley diploma. It's like, hey guys, I got it from UC Berkeley. You want to see my title? I mean, at any time I have the chance, I show the title to everybody, and I explain the history and the importance of carrying this title with me, and how proud I am to work in National Wrestling Alliance, and how excited I am for the future of the women's division, you know. And I want to do so many things. Like I've been telling I had an interview with Vicky Guerrero, and I was telling Vicky, I don't think any women has taken this title to Mexico and defended in Mexico. How great will that be? You know, I was just like, maybe I could do that. You know, I mean, I have so many things that I want to do, but thanks to the coronavirus, they might happen because flights are hella cheap right now. But we'll see. You know, so I want to promote the fact that, you know, I'm the first Mexican-born wrestler in Mexico that has this title, and, you know, and make our Mexican fans, my fans, to watch the show, to purchase, you know, the live events when it's necessary, so like they can see like there is support. And then I'm not talking about just like liking my stuff and following my stuff, actually financial support that is going to allow the National Wrestling Alliance to continue to run shows. Because let's be real, you know, Billy and they're like putting a lot of money and a lot of investing a lot on this. You know, we don't have big backers, we don't have big promoters. Like, it's all about the fans not only supporting the stuff online, but also, you know, investing in us, investing in every single one of us that work for the National Wrestling Alliance. We're a business. We want to continue to run like a business, you know. So that's why the more that I can do for this company, I will do it, because I love it. Like I said, they're the ones who gave me this huge opportunity, and I want to run with it, you know. And if you guys are with me, cool. If you don't, cool too, you know. It's just like, I want to use this platform to really, like, again, help, you know, bring awareness about the NWA, what we're doing now in the present. And I want to bring awareness, because we have a program. It was not a program, but it's part of the NWA called #Girl Power, and we're doing things to raise, you know, funds for nonprofits, awareness for women, you know, for the LGBTQ community, for everybody, you know. And I have a couple projects that I'm working here locally for, you know, the homeless people. And I'm probably gonna say it now. I mean, I'm probably gonna bring it next week when we have everything done. We're trying to like raise money, or I'm working with Salvation Army to raise money for underwear for the homeless people here in San Antonio. Because believe it or not, people, when they're homeless and they come to the shelters, they come with whatever they have on, and many times they don't have underwear. And, you know, for like a young girl or a woman to like not have like something that holds your boobs, or like just, you know, makes you feel comfortable, it's embarrassing, you know. And I can tell you, as a girl that I didn't have a lot of money, that I was like, my sisters would pass me on, you know, undergarments and clothes. Like, you will feel ashamed sometimes, and you like, you know, it affects your ego. And for men too. I mean, come on, man. Like, you're walking homeless with your pants like on the, no belt, nothing, and your buttocks are showing. You know, it's just like basic needs. And it's just like I have like a great opportunity using, you know, NWA to like bring this awareness to other people that, you know, we can all help. And I'm big on raising money, doing stuff, volunteering, because I was a social worker, and because the things that I went through when I was young, and, you know, the things that I've seen, helping other kids, helping women, helping men, you know, it's like we all need it. And now even more than ever, with all this like crisis that is happening all over the world, we forget about, you know, that is a lot of people that need help.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, I think even, you know, for me living in Australia and not knowing a lot about Mexican culture, you know, like obviously you know, the lucha stuff and being a wrestling fan, and I've seen documentaries, you know, about, you know, Rey Mysterio and about where he grew up in Tijuana and so forth. And when I finally started hearing bits about like what it's like in Tijuana, and, you know, from those sort of documentaries, it's, you know, it's so close to obviously the United States, but still there's a lot of poverty there. And it's, you know, and the fact that there's people like yourself who, you know, whose star is definitely rising, who can bring obviously more light and raise funds to sort of reduce that poverty is truly amazing. And it speaks a lot for your character as well, that, you know, you're not just like, oh, I'm big time now. It's like you want to give back to that community.
No, because I mean, just think about all those big time wrestlers that made millions of dollars in the 70s and 80s.
Mm.
They didn't manage their money right. What happened? Somebody else is doing a GoFund for them because they cannot pay their bills for hospital, or their hospital bills, or they're homeless, or they, uh, fell into a drug addiction and alcoholism because of like all this craziness that is called wrestling.
Mm.
I think about those things. It's like one day you are on top, man. Like you're making tons of money, you're super popular, boom, the next day something happens, you can have a mental breakdown, you can get into an accident and lose all your money. I'm
Mm.
telling you, I got into an accident like a month and a half ago, and everybody was so kind to me. I didn't ask for anything. I was trying to ask. I mean, I was selling my merchandise and selling my gear to make money because I don't want to make a GoFund. I don't have to make a GoFund, and people were so good to me that they donated money, for me to fix my car. And thankful to everybody, my car is gonna be fixed tomorrow. But it could have been worse. Like it could have been my car, it could have been me and my husband in the hospital with this ridiculous bills, and all my funds would have been gone. So it's like, again, I always think about not the worst, but I think about, yes, I'm gonna enjoy the present. I'm gonna enjoy what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna try to help as much as I can to all the others that are in worse situations right now. But tomorrow it could be me. If I don't, if I don't think things through, like it can be over tomorrow. Like you never know. So it's just like I always think that way because you never know. Like I said, one day you're on top, and the next day you're not. You're totally forgotten because it's entertainment business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I want to leave a legacy of positiveness, and a legacy in where it's not only in the ring, it's like also what the things that I did outside of the ring, that made me who I am, that made not only Thunder Rosa but Melissa Cervantes who she is, and my family is the same way, my husband is the same way, we come from like um, very humble beginnings and humble backgrounds, and right now we're just like I said, we enjoying what we have, but we also help when we can help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, if you ever want us to promote anything in our Facebook or YouTube page, if we can help bring any more eyes onto that.
I am going to bring it as soon as I get all the information, because I just went and talked to them. I went to talk to the director of the shelter, because this is a shelter that helps like literally all San Antonio. And the sad part here in Texas is like the infrastructure for people that have mental health or that were part of the foster care system from 0 to 18, it's gone. Like after you're 18, you're on your own. So a lot of these kids, young girls, young men, they go on the street. They have nothing. So where do they go? They go to the Salvation Army because they have a shelter. And some of the shelters are like 90 days, 30 days, and some of them are 9 months for like women and kids or like families that are intact. So many of these people are homeless, man, with kids, like little kids. And this is like one of the few places that they can go. So that's why I'm like, I work so hard to help them as much as I can, because when I was in the Bay Area, I use their services for the clients that I work with. And I see my clients, like I've seen them like they didn't have money to pay for their water bill, so they couldn't take a shower. They didn't have money to buy food. So we like whatever they eat at the school, that's what they got, So it's like that is like really ingrained in me that people still going through that every single day, while I'm wrestling and entertaining people. So it's like, if I can help a little bit and alleviate some of those problems that they have, even if it's like small, I will do it. My family will do it because, life is too short. And I feel like being selfish that's not in my nature. And it's always like helping. So that's why for me, it's like helping other women, empowering in a different way that is not only like feeling comfortable with themselves by, doing something that they think that they couldn't do, but it's also like helping them with their basic needs and, educating them in different aspects, especially here in the state of Texas, like I said, because there's very, very, very few resources for them. And then it's important that we all pitch in specifically things like this.
Look, if anything you want us to promote in our group at any stage or to bring eyes onto, I'm more than happy to support any way that you can. Just send over me what the details, and I'm happy to.
Yeah, I will. And then once I get the other ball rolling, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully everything goes well in its path. I will announce it, and I will need all of you guys like again to get together and help out. But thanks for having me here. I thought it was gonna be half an hour, and then you just got me talking, and I got all passionate, and I started just like shooting the shit.
No, that's what our show's about, and it's really conversational, and that's the thing. So it's more like I like to have when I'm lucky and fortunate enough to have guests on like yourself. I like to just have conversations. It's the standard interviews you answer the same questions. I'm sure all the time, and I like to keep it a little bit different and to really know the person behind the character. I just want to go to a couple of fan questions that one have thrown up. So, what was your experience when performing for GTS on YouTube?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now. So I thought I was hot shit when I was working with Underground, right? Nobody knew who the heck I was. I go with GTS. Kid you not. I got so many followers, and I will go. Holiday and I, we went to Canada. We're like shaking hands with people and whatever. Some guy was like, "Hey guys, I see you guys on GTS," and I looked at Holiday and I said, "See, I told you." We gotta have to work with GTS because nobody else knows us unless we work for GTS. Not even when we work in ROH, people like give us like credit. So it was really cool. I'm really good friends with Duhop. I really thank him for his friendship and for allowing us to be in GTS and allowing us to use that platform for us to like get noticed in different ways. And like actually one of the fans that lives in Texas, he watched me at first in GTS, and now when he can, he travels from Dallas everywhere in the state to come and see me because he first watched me in GTS.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Kevin Rodriguez also, as I mentioned, one of my closest friends from Wrestling Review Society. He is also saying he's willing to help and promote anything that they can on their platform to help such an amazing person and cause.
Thank you.
Kevin also does his show, The War Room, which I believe you've been in conversations with Kevin. And I'm sure he'll be able to bring a lot of eyes and attention to the cause as well for you. So send us through the details, and we're more than happy to support that. Another question, one that Kevin had was real quick. How did you come up with the Thunder Rosa name?
So you got to go on my YouTube page and go and look at when I went to Oakland. I explained exactly where and how I got the name of Thunder Rosa right there. How about that? So I can get extra hours because I want to get that super chat so we can raise some money.
Well, you know what? We'll even post that link in our YouTube page, and I'm sure Kevin will post it in his as well. So I'll send it to him. We'll get that going around. So whatever we can do to really promote the Thunder Rosa, professional wrestler, athlete that you are, we will be more than happy to do that. Now, we did mention that I was going to play a little game here at the end called Guess the Australian Slang. So have you ever been to Australia?
No, but I met an Australian in Japan, and he had the funniest. I like your accent. I actually understand what you're saying. But my friend, man, I cannot understand him for nothing. He was so funny.
Is he like a full-on bogan? Like talks, yeah, mate, gonna go down to the like.
A little bit, yeah. This is like 6'4", like chubby dude, super funny. We went. I was gonna put I actually had I made this YouTube thing, but I never edited the video. I have to do it soon. He's so funny, man. He got me cracking.
All right, well, we're gonna have you cracking right now. So we're gonna have some Australian slang. I'll use them in a sentence to help you whatever you need. But tell me, all right. So we'll get started. I'll tell you what, Thunder Rosa.
What?
That bloke over there is a bloody bludger.
A what?
A bludger.
Bludger. What is a bludger? Bludger.
I don't know. Do you want to have a guess what it is?
It has to be something bad.
Someone who's lazy generally also relies on others. You know what I mean? So someone to go like, hey, are you going to the gym? Yeah, okay, cool. Can you just like pick me up and like grab me a bottle of water on the way? And yeah, that'd be nice. Like, you know what I mean? So, okay. Another one. I'm just going to go to the bottle-o. I'll be back up in a few. What is a bottle-o?
That's a bathroom.
No. A bottle-o is like a liquor store.
Not even.
Oh, no. My dad's at the pool and he's wearing his budgie smuggler.
Huh?
Budgie smugglers. My wife just corrected me in the background.
Buggy smugglers?
Budgie smugglers. My dad is at the pool and he's in his budgie smugglers.
Let's see. It has to be some Thai swimming costume.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a Speedo, like a men's Speedo. So,
well, I actually went on Google and looked for it.
No cheating now. No cheating. All right. Oh man, I'm bugged.
I'm bugging.
Bugged.
You have to either be depressed or like down, maybe.
Tired, exhausted.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Oh mate, that's cactus.
That's cactus. That's rough. That's awful. I don't know.
Dead or broken, like it's cactus, mate. It's
well, cactus are not dead. They're just like stand there and they have water inside.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Let's go have a couple of schooners.
Schooners. You guys drink a lot. Is it a drink?
It's like a beer. So it's not a beer. It's like a glass for a beer. So it's a little bit smaller than a pint. It's a schooner. So it's hard to explain. I'll send you something. So all right, we'll go one more. Oh geez, mate, my missus cracked the shits the other night.
What?
My missus cracked the shits. What would that mean?
My missus cracked the shits.
Yeah, like saying my wife cracked the shits.
Like it's probably like she caught you doing something.
No, it means crack the shits means like she's angry at me for
something. Oh, she cracks the shit.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Thunder Rosa, thank you so much for coming on and joining me on this episode of Shooting the Shit. Thunder, where can everyone find you?
Twitter. I'm just kidding. Well, yeah, on Twitter, Thunder Rosa 22, and Instagram, Thunder Rosa 22, Facebook, Thunder Rosa 2, and YouTube, YouTube/Thunder Rosa. Subscribe. Watch my stuff for more than 5 minutes, guys. I need those hours. I need 1,200 hours to apply to get monetized. And then, guys, it's a lot of work. I invested a lot. I know I love to entertain you guys. Help a sister out. And then we're working on our website. It's not up yet, but it should be up probably by the beginning of April. My best friend Monica Lester, who you guys see on photo shoots and a lot of my videos, she is working on it. And my Big Cartel, which is thunderrosa.bigcartel.com, that's where you can get all my my merchandise. All that will be transferred there, and you guys can see everything together: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're probably gonna do a news blog like once a week, and then other projects that, like I said, we're working on it, and more information for what I'm doing with the Salvation Army here in the city of San Antonio will be delivered to you guys, and I'll send it to you so you guys can pass it along. And if you guys feel like donating for bras and panties for my beautiful people here in San Antonio, I would love to. I know some people like to buy us bras and panties. I wouldn't mind them send me the money, and then I'll donate it for a good cause.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And once you have the website up, you send it through to us, and we'll do everything we can to support. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Shooting the Shit Uncensored from Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance. I'm your host, Piers Austin. Thunder Rosa, our guest, the World NWA World's Women's Champion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And you know what? You're guilty that I stink so bad right now.
Give me 1 second after the show. Guys, we'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.